First time.
Bro, I know I've been in this room before.
Welcome.
Thanks. Year and a half later, I know. It's cool.
Where's Zuerlein? Will he be able to start doing some more? And I know you said he's on target to start the regular season. Can you just kind of fill us in exactly where he is, what he'll be doing going forward?
Yeah, he had a great kicking session today. So we've been kicking him about every other day, maybe every third day, and he's progressing just like we'd hoped. Last week against Arizona, he got a little bit of pregame workout in. We hope to do that here in 2 days, just go out on the field and go through like a pregame warm-up routine and hit operational kicks with our snapper and holder, and hopefully kick him in Jacksonville.
What happened with Hunter?
You know, in Pittsburgh, something kind of crept up with him on his like glute and his back, and there wasn't any one thing that did it, but he ended up getting his back. So I don't think it was overused because we weren't kicking him more than once every 3 days, and I don't know actually what happened, and I don't think he does either. It just kind of happened, and he got it checked out, and it's too bad because he was a really valuable leg and a great potential punter.
But yeah, he didn't really get a chance to punt. I mean, that's his forte. At least last year, he didn't really get a chance to punt in the preseason and stuff like that. So how do you that was his opportunity. If you guys were going with anger, he would have a chance to punt. He really didn't get a chance to do that because he's doing more than kicking.
Yeah, well, he was kicking because we didn't have Greg to be able to kick, and he did that because he can, but his forte is punting. And I think he punted 3 times against Arizona. I think Brian only had 1 or 2. And in the Pittsburgh game, I don't even think Anger got a punt. And I think Hunter had a couple in the second half. So, Hunter's his deal is punting. And we had him kick off and field goal just to get us out of some games until Greg is ready, which is coming. Which is too bad because Hunter's, he's got great potential as a punter, and he did a great job for us last year in the last 8 games. Brian is who I would have hoped he was going to be, which is a hell of a punter.
How was Nick Ralston doing? He had the one really big play in coverage this past game, but overall, keeping a fullback, he obviously would have to be a key contributor.
Yeah, Nick's been a riser, I would say that. He's one of the guys where you can put him at a lot of different positions, even if he hasn't practiced them. He's got, really good instincts for football. He's obviously built for a lot of power, and that's what he did, on his tackle on Arizona. He was getting double teamed, and he split it, used his hands almost like a linebacker, and made a tackle. So anytime you see offensive guys that can separate from blocks and make tackles, I mean, that's a huge notch in their belt. And he's been a really valuable guy this preseason who kind of started at the bottom and has definitely been a riser on the depth charts.
Pretty much settled in on who your returners are. You got CD, you returned Tony and Cedric. What do you stand for?
Yeah, no, that's a good one. CD's our punt returner, and Cedric Wilson also is. And I say that because kind of last year we had both of them get a lot of work. CD obviously a little bit more, but those 2 guys work so good together. It comes down to sometimes just saying, "Hey CD, you want it?" Yes, or "Hey CD, how you feeling? Why don't you give this one a set?" So it's almost as simple as that. So it's great to have 2 guys that can return punts, in my opinion, very well, and you don't have to dress an extra returner on your 48 just for returning the ball. And then on kickoff returning, it's really the same as last year with Pollard returning kickoffs. And let's say Tony's going to get that series on offense, then we'd have Rico go back there and take the kickoff return. So the chemistry between those guys in the punt return tandem and the kick return tandem is, in my opinion, I'm biased, about as good as it gets because the guys are already dressed because of their role on offense, and we don't have to dress an extra body that knocks somebody else out on our 48. So a lot of puzzle pieces, but there's a lot of value in that.
We talked to Kellen earlier when he came in, and he talked about you're not going to have any work with your first-team offense before you get to the opener. I guess that's kind of life for you every year with a special teams guy that you don't have your, quote, first-team guys.
Yeah.
For a good portion of the preseason, you'll get a lot of work together. Is that true?
That's a fact. I mean, it's a hodgepodge of, okay, you're in here, you go over here, and just trying to get 11 guys on the field in some preseason games. So you do definitely miss, and I think this goes for all teams. It's pretty rare when you have who's going to be in the regular season all in there together in a preseason rep. Your punt team is kind of pieced together based on, like Dorrance Armstrong. He's been playing so much defense, we haven't got him punt reps in the game. but I would anticipate him being a starter on punt team. But it's also great to see all the young guys play that I don't know about to see if they can. And I don't need to see as much of Dorrance Armstrong or C.J. Goodwin or some of those guys that I know they can do it.
Who were the guys that caught your eye that you didn't know about that said, okay, maybe they got a chance to help you on this?
It's a great question, and I just maybe be careful with saying it because I don't want to leave anybody out. But, Ralston's a good one. Brandon Smith, the receiver. Jabril Cox has been, doing the right things. Kelvin Joseph is learning a lot of special teams, which is something he hasn't had to do. So I don't want to leave anybody out, but I'm just kind of coming off the top with some names. The Nashawn Wright, and Mukawamu, a couple of draft picks. They're all getting a ton of work at positions that they've never played probably in their life. And so it's really good for them to get those reps and for us to see if they can do it.
Malik Hooker is going to make his preseason debut. Defense, obviously, is his specialty. But if he's not going to be starting week 1 and your backup safety is active, special teams will have to be, you'd think, some part of your responsibilities. Have you worked with him at all, intend to work with him at all, given that he probably won't be starting week 1?
Yeah, that's a good one. So for him, playing defense in the preseason, he's coming off, a significant injury and then even a significant one before that. So we've been taking it real slow at him on special teams to acclimate him just to being in football shape. And so that's going to be a little slower process with the special teams part for Malik because he's never done it in his years in the league. So I think that'll be something that any backup is going to have to do. And I think he's a good enough football player that he should be able to pick up some things we ask of him, if it comes to that. So we'll wait and see on that one.
Yeah, it's the same approach with your linebackers. You got like 4 veteran linebackers, Jalen and Layton. I don't know if they may get some special teams work this year because they may not be used as much in the regular defense.
Yeah. You're good. Yeah, because we can't dress them all. So if we're dressing those 4 and, maybe a 5th, then, the 5th guy is going to take all of them. But between those 4 guys, Jalen, Layton, Keanu, and Micah, we're going to have to make a big 4 player out of all of them, maybe 1 guy per phase. So that's something we're still working through that, and we've addressed that, and they've been getting some reps, but also balancing their defensive workload with their special teams workload is a big part of the puzzle pieces that I got to be aware of.
On that note of balancing the puzzle piece, you mentioned Dorrance Armstrong. I mean, what's the dynamic like when you're trying to Dan, please don't make him so valuable that I can't use him on my team because I need him on my how do you go through those conversations?
Yeah, no, I want him to be as valuable to the defense as possible because we want to win. And so if Dorrance became so valuable that I can't use him on special teams, then that's great because our defense needs him that much. But what's interesting is when you're in the meeting room, and we had a long meeting this morning, and it was great. The guys are just willing to do whatever it takes to win. So Dorrance, for example, he's gotten a ton of reps this preseason. And he hasn't taken any preseason game reps, but he's taken a ton of preseason practice reps. And I would say that our practice reps have been so quality that I would feel 100% confident going into a game without these guys getting live game preseason reps. But I'm always these players' biggest fan when it comes to their offense and defensive loads. And if they get taken off special teams because of that, then that means they're valuable and I'm happy, and the next guy better step up because those are big shoes to fill. But just great guys, man. Donovan Wilson last year was starter on special teams for like 6 weeks, and then he got a chance to start on defense every snap, so we pulled him off everything, except sometimes like a safety on kickoff. So, and we celebrate that. We celebrate it because Dono, great job, man, and whoever's the next guy, okay, this is what you got to do now, Rico Dowdle. Now you got to fill Dono's shoes. And so it's a big pride thing for both guys. And that's part of the really fun part about being in special teams is, seeing guys get pulled to different deals and new guys able to replace them and then try to put it back together again. So the chemistry is crucial, and it's something that we harp on a lot because, yeah.
How familiar were you with Hairulahu? Has he been on the list for a while and been watching him since Canada?
Yeah, great question. I've been aware of Lirim for quite a few years. I have a really good buddy who's a coach in the CFL for Saskatchewan, the head coach. So I've talked to him over the course of the years about Lirim. I knew he was in LA last year in training camp, and Jake, our snapper, was with him last year in training camp with LA, so we got some good information there. And he'll come in here and he'll kick, and he'll do a great job, and hopefully Greg's able to kick Jacksonville, and that's where we'll go.
We've got to ask, how did vasectomy talk come up? and what feedback have you gotten since?
Oh my gosh! So, how did it? It was a rookie special teams meeting. It was like 7:30 at night. It was me and my assistant, and just the rookies were in there, and there weren't any cameras in there, so we didn't think anything of it. We opened the meeting up. I don't even remember how. And it was a 45-minute meeting. I don't remember how it started, and it just instantly went kind of that direction, where guys were talking about some certain private things, and I'm glad they feel comfortable enough to address some things with us, and we started talking back with them, and somehow it came up with kids, and I started talking about my kids, and then I talked about how I got my third kid, and it went that way for the whole meeting. We didn't do any football, so I didn't watch the first episode of Hard Knocks, so I haven't seen it, but I've heard that we were on there for a couple minutes. But if they played the whole thing, it probably would have been entertaining for the whole 45-minute Hard Knocks episode. And I'm going to ask the people for the video, because when we got done with that meeting, me and my assistant said, that might have just been the greatest meeting we've ever been a part of. And it was no football, and it was just all personal discussions with these rookies that were kind of just jaw-dropping on some of the things that maybe happen in real life. So it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a meeting I'll never forget.
Even some education too.
It was education. It wasn't football education. It was just what they need, a little bit of life education, because some of us older guys have been through some things. And I said, guys, you don't got to be going there for 10 to 15 years, but that was something else. And I had to apologize to Coach afterwards. I said, Coach, just so you know, we didn't get any football done tonight. But it was a hell of a meeting.
Did anybody come to you to ask if it was okay with you, or did you get the surprise that it aired?
No, the Hard Knocks is so good. And I was with the Hard Knocks crew in 2016. And one of the gals came up and said, hey, this meeting we actually taped. I was like, you guys taped that meeting? I had no idea. And she said, we were thinking about using some of it. And I said, let me check with my wife. So I checked with my wife, and she said, jeez, okay. I said, we're an open book. There's no whatever.
So what did you say in that meeting?
In the meeting with my wife? Hard Knocks, yeah. So I talked to my wife. I said, honey, this is how the meeting went down. It was so funny. They'll take care of it. It might come out as kind of private, but we've discussed it before with the players over the last couple of years, just whether it's comedic, for fun, comedy, or whether it's some players have come up to me in the past and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What was your experience? And I talked to him like this is a real thing. So my wife said, hey, go for it. So I talked to the gal and said, just whatever you guys want, go with it. You don't have to edit it. You don't got to worry about nothing. And then Rich said, hey, you sure? I said, fine, man, whatever. It's all good. Hopefully somebody gets a kick out of it. We don't care.
We're going to cut this one off here, no pun intended.
Nice.